Hello, and welcome to the Product Growth Lab podcast, hosted by Andrew George and Melissa Pickle. This is the podcast for creative product-based business owners who want to grow their businesses without overwhelm or massive investment. Each episode, we explore actionable strategies, real-life stories, and insights from business owners and experts who know what it takes to succeed, whether you're just starting out or looking to scale. We're here to help you grow your business on your own terms. Subscribe and join us each week as we dive into practical advice and inspiring stories to fuel your growth journey. This is the Product Growth Lab. Let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Product Growth Lab podcast. Me and Melissa are joined by our first ever guest today. So we're super excited to dive in and talk all about Pinterest with our guest, Laura. Laura's helped thousands of business owners grow their traffic, their lists, and their sales using Pinterest. She's been featured in Social Media Examiner, Tailwind, all sorts of places. And I know we're super excited.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, guys. I'm super excited to dive in with you.
Let's get started, Laura. You know, we work with handmade people, and the last thing most of our people want to deal with is another social media platform. And I know that your view on Pinterest is so unique and refreshing in that way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Pinterest is not social media. Let's just get that out there right away. I know it has like the social media-esque type feel to it sometimes, but the nice thing is like you really don't have to have like tons of conversation on there. You don't have to be present and engaging on there as much as possible like you do for Facebook or Instagram to play into the algorithm. So it's very refreshing and kind of a break to step away from that hustle, so to speak. The biggest focus is serving the client with the knowledge or the support that they're looking for. And so they're already past that stall of, hey, do I actually need this? Or is this just coming up because an ad threw it up in my face, right? They're actively searching and they actively care. So it just makes it a nice flywheel for your marketing versus, hey, look at me, I'm dancing over here.
I know, like talking with you previously, one of the coolest things of Pinterest versus especially Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of that is instead of being a social media, it's much more of a search engine. And so your stuff, your content you put out has a chance to live a really long time.
Yeah, for sure. The shelf life is kind of what we call it, right? The shelf life on a Pinterest pin lasts months to years, whereas like social media, it can be done in a matter of minutes because somebody else could have posted something else. You get pushed out of the feed. The search intent works very similar to Google or any other search-based type platform that you're going to be working on. So you're going to have the images that you want to create and you focus on capturing their attention and being like handmade sellers, right? Etsy shop, digital products, things like that. Your first thing goes to, oh, I have to have like all these gorgeous mock-ups and all these product pictures. And the fun thing about that is you really actually don't have to focus on only that. You can focus on text-based only images. And as long as you are saying the keywords or the terms that people are searching for, they're going to find you because Pinterest is going to redirect them to that place that's going to have the products, that's going to have the images. And so you just need to be able to say the words on the design that they're searching for. And that's like the easiest way to break it down and explain. Melissa says, I want Pinterest templates, and she's on Pinterest and she searches Pinterest templates. My Etsy shop pin can pull up for those templates as long as I have used that term in my pin.
So it is an SEO heavy game here.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of different nuances that can happen with it too. You can go into, there's a lot of categories that Pinterest provides us. So I always teach everything in Pinterest computer and Pinterest user. And when we think about the computer, I hate the word algorithm. Melissa also knows I have other grievances about like the word aesthetic that is used way too much on the Pinterest platform. Like, let's just be real. But algorithm to some gives this like negative connotation. So I call it the Pinterest computer because really that's all it is it's a computer at its core, right? It's just a bunch of code. And so we want to talk to both. The computer understands categories and like it's binary and it's like, if you don't say this thing, I don't understand what you're saying. So we talk to the computer in a specific way with what we put in our pin titles, our descriptions, and we can have those categories. If you wanted to know like the full gamut of categories, you can just go to pinterest.com/ideas and that it will give you the list of different categories that are used, general ones, right? Wedding, animals, I think activities, things like that, women's fashion. So those are what the computer understands. Then as the user, you want to speak to not only their love language, but also the term. And it might not be an SEO keyword yet. And what I mean by that is you can go in and you can type, let's use aesthetic, right? You can go in and you can type,
if you
like,
can spell it,
fall fashion. Yeah, if you can spell it. Yes. You can go in and you can type fall fashion. And maybe you're looking for a specific shirt that someone was creating, right? You're going to find a ton of different clothing lines, fashion ideas, jewelry, rings. Like you're going to find all of that. But that might not be the search term. The search term might be fashion aesthetic. And so you'll figure that out. The easiest way to learn is ABC search, is what I call it. You just go to the top of the search bar of Pinterest and you start typing in what you want to be known for, what you offer, what your products are. Pinterest will start to show you a list underneath that of the highest search terms relevant to what you think the term should be. Use those. That's the easiest way to get started. You don't have to try to dive deep into all the nuances of SEO right away, but figure out what are they searching for? What is their problem? Like, what is your product solving, right? Whether it's a physical piece of clothing or crocheted item or sewn blanket, it doesn't matter. They still have that problem. A unique example, I had a problem. My kid, they're now grown out of this, but my kid would never put on warm clothes in the winter. I'm in Minnesota. And every time you go from the car to the store, from the store to the car, vice versa, other places, he'd freeze his butt off and scream at me. And I'm like, dude, this is why when you unbuckle from the car seat, mommy wants you to put on your jacket. I'm not wearing a jacket, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fine. So I went to Pinterest and I searched how to get kids to wear something warm without affecting the car seat, right? How it like functions, because I still want him to be safe. And then I had no idea there was a market for this, but there are tons of people out there that sell like a cover blankets where their head pops through. You can buckle underneath the blanket, but then when you unbuckle him, you just lift him out of the car seat and he's got this blanket around him that keeps them warm the whole time.
I had no idea.
I found it from Pinterest, right? I found it from Pinterest leading to an Etsy shop, and I bought it from this lady and he loved it. It had little Lightning McQueen cars on it. He's now, at the time of this recording, 8. This was back when he was like 3, right? And he needed to be buckled in a car seat. But my whole point was I had no idea that was even a thing until Pinterest helped me solve that problem because I went in and started searching. That's how you have to think about the platform, not the social aspects, not like the why me, why now, why does this matter? Do they care about this product? You already know your audience cares about this product or you wouldn't have created it in the first place. So speak to what they are struggling with. How are you solving that problem? How are you helping them through a solution in business, in personal life? And talk to them like they're a human with your Pinterest pins. And that is like the easiest way to start with the SEO side of Pinterest, honestly.
So when it comes to finding search terms, are people searching more like questions? Are they searching for specific items? Is it like, are we covering everything?
Yeah, that's a really good question. A little bit of everything, really. It depends on the human in your target market. For me, it's going to be way different, right? I have an Etsy shop for my Pinterest side of digital products, but I also have like the business side where I do management. And so the management clients are going to be searching for learning. They're not going to be searching for a solution per se. So they might be typing in more question type thing in the search. Now, the other people who like to DIY their stuff, for me, they're going to search for the solution to DIY it. So they might say something like the Pinterest templates or something like that. Going on, I know, Melissa, you have the jewelry, right? So people are going to go in there and be like, jewelry for a wedding. And that is going to then solve that problem for them because that's what they're searching for, and also provide a physical, tangible thing that they can then couple with. Maybe they're still looking for a dress and they find another vendor. Another really cool thing to know, and we talk about this all the time online, at least I try to, is Pinterest is not brand specific. So when I go to the platform, I have a wedding actually coming up this weekend. And I go to the platform a couple weeks ago and I search, okay, dresses for a wedding, right? Or how to make sure my whole family of 5 looks presentable together and we're not like the colors of the rainbow, okay? For this wedding, I want to make sure we
You're
at
not a
least
Skittles
somewhat
crew?
match each other. Yeah. Listen, we're the crazy train here. I always call my family that. So the Skittles crew actually might fit pretty perfect. You're welcome. Thank you. But even like the little nuances of like the differences, right? Do I want that piece of jewelry, or am I searching just for the ideation of how to couple things together? I don't care if it's Lululemon. I don't care if it's Target. I don't care if it's like Melissa's Etsy shop, right? Like, I just want that solution. And so you don't have to worry about if you're a big brand on the platform. You can focus on just serving them with either the question, the search term, whatever it is, and then not worry about everything else.
I know a lot of times
Kind of a
with handmade
long-winded
sellers.
answer.
That's okay. I know a lot of times with handmade sellers, they hear that question like, what problem do you solve? And they blue screen. They're like, I make pretty things. That doesn't solve a problem. Because if they're anything like me, I'm like, problems are world hunger. Problems are shelter. Problems are, is there gas in my car? Not product. So I usually tell people, like, if problem is a blue screen event for you or term, then think about like where your product fits in a lifestyle.
Yes. Yeah. And here's the thing, right? I think the world is changing, or at least I hope and pray that it is, to support more small businesses. Because we're kind of tired out of the generalistic big box names. They have their purpose, but not for things that we provide solutions for. So even just a quick search on Pinterest right now, there are problems like most retail gifts, I feel, are impersonal and generic. And so your solution on Pinterest is helping show people that they care in unforgettable ways, whether that's a handmade, physical, tangible, whether that's a personalized card item, a necklace, a kid's name put on a general pillow. Like, it doesn't matter. You're still solving that solution. So there is a problem with that. There's other problems like quality, right? Big box items sometimes sacrifice the quality. And so you could be going to Pinterest searching like how can I find something that's more durable? How can I trust the brand that I'm going to purchase from? I want something that's not mass produced. Maybe you're someone who likes to be unique online or in person, and you have your own like style or aura or what, you know what I mean? Like, and you can find that uniqueness by going to Pinterest first. So don't necessarily think in what you said, like problems, but you solve a very specific set of emotional and functional needs
Love that.
that your customers have. Yeah. And so then when you look at it in a deeper level, those needs can't be solved by the mass produced products in big box stores. They just simply can't touch that. Like, it's nothing against them, but that's just not something they can do. And so don't look at it in terms of problems, but look at the emotional aspect. And that's why I say like love languages, right? What are people's love languages?
Yeah.
Look at how to solve the solution in a love language.
Andrew, you look like you have a question.
No, my head is like spinning. I'm like, can't ask questions. I think at the same time. And just like, oh
Yeah.
no, now I'm like, I'm developing a Pinterest strategy in my head. Because
Yeah.
I've heavy Pinterest user.
That
Definitely
I'm my job.
Yeah. I think like for our Handmade build, like I've always talked about Pinterest and like use it as a research. I have all these boards for like every collection where I created, but I've never, there are no pins on my account. Just have like, I've never pinned anything. But now I'm like, okay, now I need to create some content. And like, because I have my own Handmade business, I have my own, but we're doing the education business thing. And I'm like, okay, I have like 800 pins.
Yeah. And so here, let's tackle that, right? Because you set a perfect point as like, I have a Pinterest account. I'm looking at my stuff and I'm like, oh, I need content. That's the phrase I hear all the time, right? If you are a shop owner on Etsy or Shopify or whatever, you have content, my friend. So if it is newer to you and you are trying to learn the best practices of the platform, just start. Pinterest is one of the most forgiving platforms that I know online. And what I mean by that is anytime you put a pin out there, if it doesn't do well, you don't have to delete it. You don't have to start over. You just try something new. You leave it alone. Because when you do find that sweet spot, so to speak, for where your audience is and when it starts converting, those other pins will follow. So I always like this saying that one of my girlfriends told me a long time ago is 0% of 0 is still 0. Take your product images and throw them up there on the platform. If that's what you do, I'm proud of you. I'm being serious, 100% serious, because a lot of times in today's world, we get stuck in that learning phase, which is amazing to be in, but we don't actually do the things. And it can be so very simple on Pinterest to do the things. You just have to start. And so if that means don't focus on the keywords right now and just put your images out there for your products, please start there. If that means you don't have a profile, start there. Your profile can be searched on Google even without any pins on there. So there are lots of ways that you can feel like you're taking that action and winning. And then if you're like, okay, I put up there that we're going to just stick on the jewelry thing because it's in my head, right? So I am a jewelry store creator. I have all these jewelry pieces and I go put up there like rings. And then maybe I find out later that rings were trending right now. So I didn't get a lot of orders. That's fine. Then that next step for you is to learn how to look at the Pinterest trends, not how to make your pins prettier, not how to figure out the deep dive on SEO keywords, right? Take little steps and just start putting things into action, because then if you find the next trend and you put it up there now, say you get a couple sales from it, great. That's on there for next year when it trends again. So you're never behind. You're never not doing something correct. As long as you are implementing on the platform is so forgiving and so loving that you will start to see traction. It might be a little bit slower depending on your knowledge base, but I guarantee you will start to see traction as long as you are implementing. You don't have to
And
create new content.
I know a lot of platforms, it's like you really have to be consistent. Do you have to be consistent on Pinterest, or can I be? Because sometimes I'm like, I want to post 5 times in one day. The next week I'm like, I don't want to post anything this week. Is that okay on Pinterest?
So I love this question. I teach everything in terms of schedulers. Pinterest has a native scheduler. My other couple favorites are Tailwind, Metricool, and Planoly. And the reason being is because you can have multiple boards that are similar to that one topic that you're going to be sharing about. So again, if you're sharing about rings, you can talk about jewelry. You can talk about fashion, you can talk about rings, and now that's 3 boards for that one product, right? So in terms of consistency, yes, you want to be consistent on the platform, but you choose your consistency. So if you know that you can pin 2 times a week, use a scheduler, block out the days that you are not going to be scheduling, right? So 2 times a week, I would pick like Tuesday, Thursday. And the times and the days don't matter. There is no perfect time or perfect day because remember, this is a search-based platform. So they are searching on their timeline. And so I would say, okay, in the scheduler Tailwind, I want to schedule every Tuesday and every Thursday. Then you go in, and if you know you have 10 pins, just bulk upload them and schedule them. So the next 4 weeks, you have 2 pins going out. What is that?
5 weeks.
Math. 5 weeks. Thank you. Yep. Math. Right? But then you're done for 5 weeks. Unless you wanted to increase that and add more in. And then you say, okay, now I'm going to start doing Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. So consistency, yes, but consistency goes based off of what do you have available? How often can you schedule per day or per week? And then use a scheduler to help you with that consistency. Because my whole thing is if you can spend a half hour to an hour every week, or maybe 2 hours for the month or whatever it is, you can batch create that stuff out. I'm scheduled out through the end of summer because I know for me, I know what the trends are going to be this summer. And I have kids home. Like, let's just be real. I'm not going to have time to do that kind of stuff. But that's the beauty of the platform is we know the predicted trends. We know what people are going to be searching for. So we just schedule it out.
And in terms of, because email is my thing, can we just send pins to products, or can we send them to things like lead magnets and other types of content? Can we make pins for this podcast?
Yes. 1,000,000%. Please send pins to this podcast, because that is one of the easiest ways to bring more listeners. I work with a lot of podcast owners. That is the easiest way to grow your listener base. But the way that I say this is in 2 steps. 1, as a content creator, anywhere you have content online, Pinterest is the top of funnel, leading more visibility to that content. So keep that in mind. Instagram posts, Facebook lives, be careful with that now that they take them down for 30 days. We have specific strategies that we'll try to help with, right? YouTube videos though, blog posts, Facebook posts, like whatever it is, do that. As long as you can grab a URL, you can use Pinterest. It's redirection at its core. My caveat to that, and the step number 2, is if you are just starting out, where do the most conversions happen for you? Now, conversions don't mean dollars in my world. Conversions can mean dollars. They can mean leads. They can mean visibility to a specific offer or post that's really doing well. And then you have the conversations on the back end. Like, it's what is bringing in the most return for your time That's where I want you to start, right? So, Andrew, if you know that your emails are gold and you get sales and visibility and conversations from that landing page, yes, 1,000,000%. Start there. Then start to layer in the Etsy shop, the Shopify store, the blog post, the YouTube, the podcast, whatever. You want to just make sure that you are using your time efficiently. So don't just spray and pray, right? Like we call it pin and pray. Make sure that you set up some sort of structure so that the first batch that you send out is going to go to something meaningful to your business, and then create that wider net of visibility to start bringing in sales and leads from other places in your marketing. Because this really is just a full marketing support channel. Honestly, you can get sales, you can get leads, you can get traffic, you can get viewers, subscribers to your podcast, your YouTube. There's so many different ways to track what means success to you. So just make sure you know that when you start.
I think you just increased Melissa's to-do list on this end there. A whole bunch of tasks I'm making pins for the podcast.
Yes. Now when we meet up, Laura, you're going to be like, okay, how are these 3 channels doing?
Yeah.
They just what?
I absolutely love that. And yes, Melissa, we will continue to support this now 3rd venture.
You only heard about
into
number 2
results
yesterday.
I love it.
Oh, I love that. We're here. We will 100% help. And we do have video templates for you in Pin Perfect. So you can go snag those up and you can use them for podcast. I have to take a look at them.
So
Yeah.
should we do a mix of the more like static pins and then like, because we're in Descript, we can clip up the podcast and should we put those on Pinterest as well?
Yes. So this is where it comes down to every marketing platform likes you to use multiple modalities, right? So Pinterest has the static and the video and the collage. So you want to use as many of those to be versatile. It's really easy though, but you also want to think about, again, going back to that love language of the audience you're trying to reach. Are they visual? Are they audio? Do they care if it's a video versus a static? Are they going to be at work maybe while they're researching this and so they can't listen to a video? So I always do one pin type for each piece of content at the very least, because everybody has a different learning style. Everybody has a different love language. So someone may love your video pins and someone else may be like, I can't play those at work. So I love the static because I know exactly what I'm getting into. So yes, 100%. And then videos are just as amazingly searched as static pins. So you have the same capabilities on the platform regardless of the modality that you use.
And don't hit me. Where do idea pins come in, or are those video pins? I'm having a brain fart.
Ooh, I'm not going to hit you. We'll bring this up. I'm going to bring this up in results, so Miss Ma'am.
I'm having a brain fart. It's Thursday morning. Come on.
Yeah, listen, let's toast to some coffee here.
Yep. I love it. Andrew's even got his over there too.
So idea pins were this amazing thing that Pinterest put out a couple of years ago, and it was more supposed to be like Instagram stories brought to Pinterest, is basically how we explained it. The downfall with that system is they did not allow you to click through them. So it was more of like a visibility boost. Without getting too into the nitty gritty and the weeds of things, I'm a data nerd. And so myself and a couple other Pinterest managers dived deep into the data of that. The storyline went, well, people revolted against idea pins because the pin users were like, this is not helpful. I want to be able to click. Like, that's the whole purpose of Pinterest. And so then they made idea pins clickable, and then they just took them away completely because people still weren't super happy with it. And by took them away completely, I'm going to come back and say there are 2 ways to create a pin on Pinterest. Simplified is what they now call it, and static. Please, for the love of all things holy, test. I personally do not teach and or promote anything at this current moment on simplified pins, because in the code, when your pin is on the platform, it codes it as a non-clickable idea pin. They can click through now. However, the way that it is served on the platform, again, earmuffs if you're brand new, because this is kind of getting into the weeds of things, but how it is served on the platform in the computer's side of things is not as helpful as a static pin. And so that's my only grievance with it right now. They are clickable. So it doesn't matter if you're like, oh, shoot, I uploaded a simplified pin and it wasn't a static pin. They look the same. They are almost identical. The way that you know the difference is because Pinterest will allow you, when you're uploading, to tag categories. If you can tag categories underneath your title and description, you are on the simplified pin version. If you don't see that, you are doing just a static pin. And that's where I say to go for right now until things change. Just because of the fact of how it looks in the back end code. But yeah, otherwise they look the same. The functionality is the same. Just the nitty gritty of me reading all those HTML lines, I don't like it.
Data nerd, yeah. Code reader, no.
Oh, I'm both, girl. Gemini and I have been besties for the past 48 hours creating landing pages. Oh, God. I don't know. And you know I am a coding nerd because I just created this wonderful app to help you track everything that you're doing in Pinterest, too.
Oh, it's beautiful.
That was... thank you. There was code heck. Oh, but yeah.
Okay. Andrew, do you have another question?
Yeah, I was gonna say, because it's a kind of longer term play, how long did it take to start to see results? Am I gonna have to wait longer than I might somewhere else?
100% you have to have patience on this platform. Yeah. So it depends on what your goals are. You can have goals of visibility and growth on your account, and you will start to see that right away once you're being consistent. If your specifics are sales or leads or things like that, you're going to have to give it some time. Our typical sweet spot for our management clients, we say between 4 and 6 months, because that's the 4-month mark. If you are doing all the things with the SEO and the designs and the categories and all that buttoned up nice, it can be very, very quick, like 3 to 4 months. Or depending on your niche, it could be 6 months. So again, there's going to be a lot of testing in the beginning for newer brands, figuring out what's going to work, what the audience loves, what they don't engage with, so to speak. And by engagements, click through or save for later. So it can take some time. I have pins that lead to a masterclass I did. I now use that masterclass as an evergreen masterclass. But that one pin still brings in leads daily. And I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago. So it will take time. Be patient. Be open to the fact that you are going to have to test multiple things. And if you walk into it with that, you'll see the results faster than you assume.
And as long as I start posting the right things to start with, am I going to get like some data to work with to test? Even if I'm not getting
1,000,000%. Yep, 1,000,000%. You will start to receive data almost dang near immediately. We've done a jumpstart program where I literally just teach the foundations of your profile, your board, and the categories you want to be known for. And when people set that up, they start seeing the visibility and followers come into just their profile. They might not have even shared pins yet. And so 100% just implementing on the platform, you will start to get the data. You will start to see results. You just, again, we tell everybody set 3 goals: good, better, and best. Make them stackable. The good goal could be, I'm scheduling pins. The better goal could be, I now have 10 new followers and I'm scheduling pins and my visibility went up 5%. The best goal could be, I'm getting followers, I'm scheduling pins, my visibility went up 5%, and now I'm getting traffic to my landing page or I got an email, right? And so just stack those and make sure you're constantly checking in because those goals are going to change. But as long as you set up some sort of parameters around a couple different goals, you'll see instant mini win from starting on the platform.
To me, one of the most like reassuring things that you kind of said in this, maybe it's a little bit in subtext, is about the cyclical nature of Pinterest. So a lot of handmade people are working in seasonal or holiday style collections. And even if you semi-missed the boat or Pinterest didn't quite pick you up for this year on that holiday or season, your stuff still exists that you can be categorized and picked up next year.
Yep, 100%. And that is the beauty of the forgiving nature of the platform, because we start to teach people, and this may sound crazy, but we teach people 6 months. Look at what's going to be trending in 6 months and start posting it now. If you are like, I can't, like, right? Like maybe I create this product right now for next month. Totally fine. Still post it. Even if it's not trending, it will be. So you can still pick up on that later. You could still get sales from it tomorrow, even if it's not trending, because we don't search in terms of trends either. When we have that problem, AKA need, we're going to search when we need it. So some of the industries like weddings and whatever, like those industries, we know there are trends. But there are people that do weddings in the winter and the fall.
Yeah.
So don't rush to the trends. Rush to making sure you're putting it on the platform regardless of that, and then try to couple in the trends.
That's a down the road thing. You have to just get your stuff up on the platform. Really, Pinterest is all about here. Like, just start.
Yes, please. If I could get more people to understand that, like, they love us as users. Honestly, Pinterest provides so much to help us succeed, more than any other platform I've seen in marketing, honestly, that if you start that relationship with them, because really that's what it is, start the relationship by just putting stuff on the platform, you will be surprised at what you can get from it.
Yeah, I think hearing how forgiving it is really reassuring. So I think when I first started my business, paid a little bit of attention with Dress. It was so, you have to have a strategy. You have to have this many boards. You have to pin to board 1 on day 1 and day 2 pin, and then and you must have tailwind, and you have to do everything in a really certain way and have this specific strategy. And if you don't, it's not worth doing. And it
Come on,
just
Andrew.
drives
When
total
we
nuts.
started, it wasn't Tailwind, it was Board Booster.
I remember.
And then we dropped off
my
Pinterest for a
goodness.
long time, and now we're back with you.
I love it.
That was the old
Yeah, I
Pinterest.
remember Board Booster. That was the OG Pinterest. Listen, I have been on Pinterest since it was invite only. My kid was 1 year old. He was born in 2008. So I will tell you, Pinterest started in 2009. And that the only reason I remember that is because my kid was born the year before it. Like that, it has evolved and changed and been so amazing to watch over the years, though, because they still care. They still care about us.
Ooh,
And that's why I
strategy.
don't like using the term algorithm either.
Yeah. On strategy, talking about like old versus new. Maybe you were on Pinterest before and then you took a break and coming back to it. Tell me this
Yeah.
is true or false right here. Because it used to be you shared a lot of other people's content. Are you still doing it on Pinterest, or is it much more now like you're putting your own stuff?
Yeah, false. 100%. You do not need to care about other people's content for your business. Now, I still use it for personal, right? And the reason I say for business is because I know on the back end, personally, I'm still saving other people's content. I have one account. So pro tip, if you don't want to toggle between business account and personal account, you can have one account and have secret boards. So I'm saving my personal stuff to a secret board. It doesn't matter if I did that anyway. Pinterest is a redirection site. So as long as you are putting out quality and as long as you are putting out solutions, you don't have to put out anybody else's content. You don't have to save other people's content. You don't have to and then let's flip side. Yeah, no resharing. You don't have to. Let's flip that though, right? Like when this is published, I will be sharing that on my Pinterest account. That's technically third-party content. So if this is going to be maybe a touchy subject, but I'm going to be bold and put it out there. If you are doing business right, you have third-party content with collaborators and connections. That is your third-party content you worry about on Pinterest. You don't need to worry about resharing some recipe that you probably don't really care about just to boost the algorithm. If I go to your guys' Pinterest account and reshare this podcast, that's resharing, but it's also my content. Mm-hmm. So there are ways to still share and reshare, but don't do it if it doesn't serve your business.
What about like group boards? Remember that being a thing?
Yeah, so I love group boards. The bloggers are holding on tight to that, man. I still do have clients that get stuff from group boards. However, those group boards are from back in like 2013. So they hit the algorithm at the right time when it was important. If you try to join a group board now and share to a group board, you're not going to see anything from it. There's really no necessary strategy there for you. Again, now, if you're a photographer or a wedding pro or something and you've got products on Etsy and you've got services and like things like that, then maybe, because like I have a group board, but it's for all my clients. So they can share their stuff to my board and then I'm collaborating with them because I know that they're my client, right? So like I'm doing it strategically, not just to get my stuff out there. It's more of like, we created this pin, share it to my group board because now I can use it as a portfolio and it's getting my client more visibility on the platform. But in my opinion, group boards are dead. Don't waste your time with them. You won't see much return with them. If you really, really feel like you need to be doing some sort of collaboration like that, Tailwind has something called communities. Some communities work for some clients. Some communities don't work. So again, test.
You got a follow-up question to that, Andrew, or are we wrapping?
I don't know. I'm like looking at the time. I'm like, I want to sit and talk. I have like probably go all day. Questions.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if people have questions too after this episode, I'm more than happy to come back on and do like a Q&A. Like if they say, drop your questions below and you get questions, I will come back and answer specific questions. Not a problem.
For that, people, definitely drop your questions, drop your ahas, any takeaways going on, put them in the comments. And Laura, how do they find you?
More than happy. Yeah. Amazing. So I actually have an amazing landing page for all you peeps. If you go to laurarike.com/podcast, there will be some amazing goodies and freebies on there and other things just for listening to the wonderful podcast with Melissa and Andrew. It will give you a big, bright, bold, beautiful thanks for listening. And then I give you some other options in there. It talks about me. We didn't even get into the wedding, how I paid for my whole wedding in cash using Pinterest. That will be a story for another day.
Okay.
But that story is on there. And then there's just a lot of resources to help you actually take action, y'all, because that is my biggest If you take nothing else away from today, take action, please.
Yeah, we'll be sure and put that in the show notes as well. And let us know questions for part 2, because I feel like we need the part 2.
Yeah, for sure. I'm down for it anytime.
Awesome.
Well, thank you, Laura, so much for joining us today. This has been a fantastic episode. Andrew totally has a Pinterest strategy now. My workload is about to triple. Like, life is good.
Yes, I did my job, y'all. Thank you so
make
much
sure-
for having me, though, you guys. It was so much fun.
All right, we'll definitely be having you back. Everyone, make sure you go down into the show notes, click that link, laurarike.com/podcast, and get all her goodies. Follow her. This has been great.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming and sharing everything with us.
Absolutely.
And with that, guys, it's the Product Growth Lab. We'll be seeing you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to the Product Growth Lab podcast. We hope you found today's episode insightful and inspiring. If you enjoyed the show, leave us a review. It helps us to reach more creative entrepreneurs just like you. Stay connected and keep experimenting. Follow us on your favorite podcast platform, and don't forget to join our community for more resources, tips, and support. Until next time, keep growing and creating. This is the Product Growth Lab, signing off.